everybody, greetings from Sarah. I thought I would bring you just one more project tutorial kit from the Love You to Pieces bundle that doesn't have a Valentine's theme to it. So you can send this out to a friend or a relative that you haven't seen in a while, and it doesn't have to go out at Valentine's Day. If you are a Valentine's card person, you can use this for that as well. So this is a relatively simple card, although it's a complex design. Let me just get these pieces out of the way for you. What we've done here is this main puzzle block here was cut out with this big die on the Big Shot. And then this puzzle piece here with the Designer Series paper, Share What You Love, uses this puzzle piece here as a larger sampling. Okay, so we're going to bring in the pieces. I've done all the Big Shot work for you, so we don't have to watch me Big Shot on video. We're using a piece of very vanilla cardstock, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4.25. And we're just going to fold that in half and burnish the score line with our bone folder. Okay. The next piece that we're using, this is a piece of Berry Burst cardstock. This is 3 3/4 inches by 1 1/4 inches. And then this again is the Share What You Love Designer Series paper. It has 2 sides, but I like this flower image here because the puzzle piece stamp set has a flower that mimics it. The stitched shaped framelits, Bermuda Bay. And then this is Lemon Lime Twist, and I cut the big puzzle block right out of the center of that. Now, if you're careful when you take the die off of the paper, this outside part comes off, and then the rest of this will stay together. So it will be easier for us to adhere it to the card. So we're going to start by doing some stamping. I'm going to use the Tranquil Tide ink and the flower image that matches the Share What You Love Designer Series paper. And I'm just going to stamp this flower on either corner of the Lemon Lime Twist cardstock. Okay. All right, next I want to adhere that down to my card base. So it doesn't matter yet which way is up because we don't have any words on the card. And we just want to center that on the very vanilla. Now, try not to pull on the frame too much because you can easily warp the shape and then change the way that your card will lay. Okay, so next we're just going to use some snail. We want to apply snail where we know that these 3 solid rows are going to rest, and then where this piece and these 2 pieces are going to rest, because we're going to take this piece out. So at the top, at the bottom, for this row, got cat hair in my adhesive. And then for 2 pieces and 1 piece over here. And we want to leave as much space as we can for the sorry about that. We want to leave as much space as we can for the piece we're going to take out. Now, again, if you're careful with transportation and removing it from the die, you can keep it all in one piece and stick it right back into that gap it came out of. Okay. And now you can pry out just that one piece that you want to be free. We did pretty good. Just a little bit of adhesive there. Okay. Now we can adhere our puzzle piece, the designer series paper, down to the stitched framelits. Okay, and those pieces are ready to go. First, we're going to do a little heart-shaped stamping inside this puzzle piece hole. I'm going to use the lemon lime twist. And you just want to hover over where you know the heart shapes will fit into the image. Okay, so these pieces are adhered together. Now the next thing we can do is some heat embossing. You'll notice that on my card here I have some heat embossing for the sentiment, and then some little hearts are heat embossed. So you just need some basic supplies for heat embossing. I like to have one of these trays to help catch all my powders. Another thing I've seen is where they use disposable sandwich containers. You can pour your powder right in it and keep it right in there with a plastic spoon, and you just tap it onto your paper. You'll need an embossing buddy, Versamark ink, embossing powder. Those are the basics. If you don't have a tray, you can use a piece of paper folded in half to dump your powder into. I recommend having a small brush with sturdy bristles. I got this from a stenciling set. And I recommend some craft tweezers as well, so that you don't burn your hands while you're heat embossing. So the first step for us will be to treat our project materials. We're going to use the embossing buddy and then just spread the cornstarch that's inside of it across our surface so that it eliminates any static and hand oils as well, because you want your powder to stick to where you stamp and not your fingerprints. All right, so we are going to use the chamois to clean the ink off of our stamp. And then we're going to use the Versamark. This is a clear adhesive stamp ink, so you can use it just like it is for a tone-on-tone impression. You'll just have to let it sit a little extra to dry. Or you can use it as your base for heat embossing. Okay, so you probably can't see that. And then we'll use this as well for our sentiment. Okay, so I know that my circle's going to go over here. I want to keep my sentiment over to the right side. All right. Now I can apply my powders. So I'm just using regular white embossing powder, nothing too special. Okay, so I'm just going to apply the powder to my stamped surface and then tap off the excess. Okay, so now you can see where you've stamped more clearly. And what's nifty about this tray here is that it has a plug at the very end, so I can just pull out this plug here and dump my powder right back into my container using the funnel of the tray. Voila! Replace your plug and cover your powder. Always move your plastic and powder out of the way before heat setting so that you don't accidentally melt anything you don't want to melt. Okay. So my craft tweezers allow me to hold onto small bits like the puzzle piece without having to burn my fingers. And I don't have to pinch them to keep them closed. They stay closed until I pinch them to open them. When using your heat tool, you want to put the heat setting at 2 for heat embossing, and you want to turn it on and let it heat up for a good significant amount of time so that it doesn't warp your paper, and it heats faster when you're embossing. So here we go. I'm going to heat up the tool and speed up the video so you don't have to watch in real time. So why you would need this is if before you heat set, you would be able to wipe off any extra powder bits. If you got the edge of the stamp, for example, around your words, you could just wipe off that extra powder instead of heat setting it, and then you'd have that awkward stamped line at the edge of your project. But we did pretty good today. We won't be needing it. All right, so the next thing I want to do is to trim the little banner edge at the front of our banner. So I'm going to snip up the center and then from each corner to that snip. And then that way I know that my banner will always be even on either side. Okay. Now we can adhere our circle to the banner. And then we can adhere our puzzle piece to the circle. Whoops, want the heart spacing up. Okay, and then I'm going to use the dimensionals. I ran out of the regular hexagon shapes, but I like to trim the edge pieces so that I can use those as well. So I'm just going to use a few pieces of my edge, just like the inside pieces, to hold down my banner, but pop it up at the same time. So it gives it a little bit of dimension, a little bit more focus on my card. All right, and then this just goes right in the center right there. And there you have it, this cute little card. Not necessarily for Valentine's Day, it can go to a friend, relative, go with a gift for a birthday perhaps, especially if you're sending a card in the mail for someone's birthday, and you want to get together and have coffee with them or have cake with them. You never know. I hope this inspires you to get out your stamps and stamp something today. Have a great day.